All right, so we are now ready to record another social marketing hour, and I got a very special guest here today. This individual is somebody that I consider a friend, but aside from that, he's a very, very genius, bright mind. I can talk a lot about his background. I'm going to let him talk about that himself. He's a film director, and I can tell you, he's a great social media marketer. He's a great business guy. He's somebody that I respect and I admire a lot, but I'll tell you a quick little story as to why he's with us here today and why he means so much to us here at AGM Marketing. Many years ago, what feels about 100 years ago already, we recorded something called the Facebook Masters course. This course was a dream that I had, this idea to put together a course because I had accomplished success with social media marketing, and I felt that I had accomplished success. I come a long way since then, but at that point, I had a reputation and I had attention in that area. So I said, Jake, why don't we do this together? And he directed the heck out of me. And he ran the project with me for many months. I became a pain in his butt for quite a while. And we did something very special together. And this particular course, Jake, you might not know this detail, but it sold $2.5 million. This one course.
Oh my God.
Yeah. And he was a director. He was a creator of that course with me by my side. And a lot to happened since then.
I got to start promoting that. It's like, I helped create a $2.5 million course.
Not only that, Jake, here's the thing.
That's definitely not been on my website.
Yeah. So here's the thing. That course catapulted to a large extent also where we are at today.
Wow.
Because there is nothing like educated students. They are the best clients that we've had, and they are the most dedicated to their success.
I mean, it's just a testimony. It's just a testament to, how amazing you are and the skill and the knowledge you have.
Thank you. But
I just put a camera there. Yeah,
but let me tell you, and I'm going to let you talk in a second, Jake, but it's crazy. Obviously, a lot of success. You've seen me grow, right?
Oh my God.
We have a great team.
We did not have this beautiful studio when we started out.
I was gonna say that. We have a state.
We were in a closet.
Correct. We got a state of the art marketing facility now, and we got this beautiful building. A lot of money has been put into this building. Why don't you tell the audience before you introduce yourself? How did we record this course? What equipment did we use?
Oh my God.
And what was our desk? Let's start there.
I mean, our desk was 3 cardboard boxes stacked on top of each other with a laptop on top of it. And that you were looking down, up, down, no teleprompter, all of this off the top of your head. We just made it go right. We just figured it out. We're we want to do this course. Let's make it as beautiful and amazing as possible. We had a green screen. We were in a literal closet. If anybody who's watching this also is a fan of 𝗙𝗙𝗄𝗎𝗍, you've seen 𝗙𝗙𝗄𝗎𝗍's closet. That's basically what we did, but we just put a green screen behind it, so it made it look like you weren't in a small closet.
Why don't you tell them about the green screen? What kind of a green screen was it?
It was just, probably a $30 one from Amazon.
It was
$20 thing. Yeah. That's where we were at. You are now a long ways away just on this side of the camera. You don't even see the other side. We have a professional green screen studio on the other side of these cameras.
That's a $12,000 green screen right there.
A little bit different than, $20 green screen studio.
That's right.
And we had a blast though. It was fun. A lot of late nights, I had a lot of sleepless nights with your editing team, and it was good though. We had such an amazing product.
Yeah. I think you also learned how to charge for your time better.
Yes.
That was a good experience for you.
Yeah,
also.
definitely a learning experience.
Anyways, Jake, why don't you tell the audience, people are listening to this on podcasts. They're going to be watching videos. This is going to come out on YouTube, everywhere else, wherever they may be joining. Tell them a little bit about yourself.
So I came from a family of artists. I've always wanted to be a filmmaker, and so I went to film school. I was very fortunate to be able to do that. And then out of film school, I was like, cool, let's go make a $100 million action movie. I'm going to be the next J.J. Abrams, the next Christopher Nolan, Steven Spielberg. Where's my $100 million?
Well, let me just interrupt you quickly. A lot of people say that they come from a family of artists. A lot of people say that. You come from a family of artists.
Sure. Okay. Yes.
So I know we don't want to get sidetracked, but Jake's dad is a legend in the Hollywood industry.
Oh, thank you.
And he's quite something. So you have all this in your blood, right? All this talent in your blood.
Yeah, I was very fortunate to grow up as an artist and with parents who were very supportive of me being an artist. And so, but I left film school going like, great, let's do this, but no idea how to make money. And that was like the one upside and downside. Though my parents were successful, they were just like, go figure it out. Go do it. I was like, okay. And then I worked with some charities for a bit, which was amazing. I got to travel the world, and my life looked amazing via social media. And at that point, that was the start of my social media journey. And I was realizing, I changed the definition of PR, and I would how I teach it is not public relations. It's perceived reality.
Interesting.
And because people were like, I would see people having a party on Instagram and whatnot. I was like, why didn't I get an invite? What the hell? They're like, well, you're in Japan. I'm like, dude, that was a month ago. I had 1 day of travel through Japan while I was working with a charity to get cool photos for myself, but I would spread out over 2 weeks. I mean, this is like 2016, early days of Instagram, and like before people were really like fronting and making Instagram a thing. So I started getting a knack for the social media thing of creating content for social, and I grew my Instagram pretty fast. But then charity doesn't pay my bills.
That's right.
I was doing it for free, but I was paying rent back in LA while I was traveling. So I had to figure out how to make some money, started learning business, and was like, oh, okay, this is not taught to artists. There was no business class in film school. There was just, here's the camera. Here's a story.
Right.
So I then kind of combined those two skills and started helping creating interesting content for brands and individuals. And I love working with entrepreneurs, and especially entrepreneurs who have an interest into aesthetics and creative. I mean, you look at Manuel, he's an epitome of this. This studio is just amazing, and the facilities are there. Like, even though where you started, like, was the very basic, but you've always had that. Let's make things unbelievably aesthetic. And so that's why it's always been such a pleasure to work with you, because you admire it and you respect it, and you yourself are an artist because you live beautifully.
I appreciate that.
So that's kind of my story of like just combining filmmaking and photography with growing social media, and was like, oh, I can actually get paid to have a camera in my hand. Good.
I love it. Listen, Jake, it's crazy, but you sometimes don't realize how fast time flies.
Oh, as I've gotten older, I definitely realizing.
So you and I, by now we can say we go freaking way back, man.
Yeah.
I don't know if you recall this epic event called social. What was it called? What did we call it? Social marketing. It wasn't.
Oh.
What was it called? What was it called?
Oh my God.
We did an event.
Social media mastery or something like that.
Mastery and dominating social media.
Dominate social media.
Dominate social media.
Yes.
All right. It was called Dominate Social Media. We sold it for $1,000.
Yes.
We packed the house. We did.
Yep.
It was at that point, you say
this was early on in my career.
So I already had accomplished success with our brand Natural Slam. AJ Marketing was still in its infancy. I maybe
but
had.
It had been doing well. You
had been doing well.
Had Dr. Berg.
Dr. Berg already was on,
yeah.
which is crazy. So this is Dr. Berg has been with us almost for like 6 years now.
Wow.
So and I got fortunate that I got some good clients at the beginning. One of them was my father, and the other one was Dr. Berg. So I was a little bit spoiled with these unicorns that I had on services. But you and I did that training where we're talking about the opportunity, and that was Dominate Social Media. And you talked about content creation. You talked about, and quality of content and doing all that stuff. Andrea D'Agostini, who's a friend of both of ours, he talked about marketing also. He talked about aesthetics and a lot of different positioning and branding, et cetera. And I talked about marketing. In that point, Facebook advertising was like
pennies.
Such a big opportunity. Like it's a different story. And I told people, hey, listen, you gotta go all in, because opportunities, they come and go. They literally come and go.
And in the Facebook Masters class, you literally just kept pounding that into these people. It's like, look, this is not going to last forever.
Yep.
The next thing will come, but this is the opportunity right now.
That's right. So maybe a year or a year
that was like
and a half.
5-6 years ago.
Yeah. So maybe a year or so afterwards when we did the course. The course is I believe now 4.5 years old.
Wow.
Right by now. So a lot of things have changed, and we developed obviously strategies and things to accommodate to this particular world that we live in right now. But what would you say, Jake, knowing from your experience, which I might say about Jake is a professional. Like the reason why I like working with you is because I don't have to think about how to create, you do that part, and I just become myself.
Yeah.
Which is, it's very unique, which is for anybody that's listening. All right. Like, so for example, today, an example will be today. I'm bringing you here as a guest. All right. You're supposed to just come in here and sit down and just let me ask you questions and we can talk about marketing and content and all those things. But no, I walk in here and you're reorganizing the entire studio, right? So you don't ask permission, you just be. Why? Because you're also certain in the correctness of your actions, which is something very special.
But again, and it's only because, I'm going to just say this, it's only because I've been doing it for so long. Like I was recently at a Grant Cardone event, we were talking about real estate. And one of the main things he said was confidence. It's like, you got to have confidence. And the way to build confidence is just to do it over and over. The same way you know when an ad is going to perform, it's because you've been doing it so long. And you know what ads are going to perform and you know what ads are not going to perform. And you know what to instantly look at. It's drilling. That's
right. That's right. So Jake, I know you have a lot of things on your plate. You're doing a lot of stuff. What could you say to an audience that is maybe struggling on the content creation process right now? What do you see as opportunities and attention grabbing?
This is the era of content. Like if every company in the next 5 to 10 years max will become a media agency. And if you haven't done it, you have to get on it right now because this is the era of content. Regardless of whatever advertising venue and avenue to put money into expand it, if you're not making content, you are missing out on millions, if not hundreds of millions of dollars.
Well, this is the era in which brands are going to differentiate themselves with quality content.
And that's where it's like where I say like every company is going to become a media company, because even as we're filming this podcast, right, you have a staff member behind the camera shooting behind the scenes of us doing this. And your company doesn't make content, right? You're an ad agency. Why are you shooting all of this content? Why are you doing this podcast?
Actually, we do create a lot of content.
Well,
now.
Yes.
We have dramatically evolved.
Okay,
Jake.
well, there you go. But you're shooting content not only for others, but also for yourself. And that's why you're becoming a media company. Every company is going to do this, whether you're Wheaties to Nike to, a mom and pop shop to a masseuse to a doctor. I mean, look at Dr. Berg. The man sells supplements, but he is a media company. The man is putting out more content than most television shows.
He's very close to crossing like 9 digits, man, in a year.
That's
close.
Unbelievable. And
unbelievable.
And if you ask him what was his most successful action, what would it have been? I mean, we've talked about it. It's content and his YouTube channel. And as we've talked about, it's like his YouTube channel is his baby. And if CEOs, entrepreneurs, whether you're, solopreneuring this or you have 1,000 staff members, if you're making content consistently and start putting it out there, you'll win. Now you can get into some nuance of strategy of like, hey, right now, if you want to go viral and you want to get more attention faster, focus on short form content, focus on TikTok, focus on, Instagram Reels and YouTube Shorts. Don't worry as much about long form. Or if you want to maximize and you have a CEO who's super busy like yourself, do a podcast, then have a staff member or an agency, like my agency, for example, where we take longer form content, cut it down, and distribute it for you.
Right. Like this podcast right here is probably going to end up becoming 100 different pieces of content.
Yeah.
And we spread it. And the same thing with Dr. Berg. Going back to the example of Dr. Berg, he makes 30 videos a month, 1 per day, but we end up posting 1,200 times a month. So it's magical.
It's magical costing Dr. Berg, maybe an hour or 2 a day of work?
Well, he's next level.
He's an exception.
He's a unicorn, right? Like I can tell you.
But imagine just like a podcast like this, right?
Yeah.
This is going to be a half an hour of your time. But then you're going to have 30 posts to 100 posts from it. Then you can also reuse that in 6 months, a year, 2 years, 10 years, 20 years from now. You can reference back this conversation and this piece of media. And so with, again, a half an hour of your time.
This is a very important conversation, all right? Very, very important. Because here's the thing. Most people are not Dr. Berg. I cannot even tell you how many people come to me and tell me, I want to be the next Dr. Berg. I want to be the next Frank Suarez. I want to be the next Grant Cardone. I want to be... Listen, guys, it's like winning the lotto, right? Like there's a certain thing. And my problem, Jake, I can tell you benefit. It's either I was fortunate or unfortunate. I was spoiled at an early age in the world of marketing because I was fortunate enough to have unicorns that all I had to do was take their incredible content and send it out into the world. And just by pressing a few buttons, these people will catch fire and go viral. Still today, as you know, my father passed away 19 months ago already. He's getting seen by more people today than he was when he was alive.
It's wild.
It's insane.
But that's a testament to just the power of content. That if you create a library, if unfortunately, you have a passing and, you are no longer alive, your content can continue to live on and help people.
It's legacy by definition.
Yeah. Right? Like imagine, and there's so many different ways you can do it. Like you don't have to do it from a podcast. You don't have to, if you feel like you find the way that fits you.
Let me interrupt for a second here. There is something that I've never given you credit for. True story, all right? That I stole from you and have used many times over the years. You know what that is? You probably have no clue what I'm about to say.
I have no idea.
Okay. I don't know if you took it from somebody else, but this is something that once you said it, that's an ability that I have. Like I know, I give credit where credit is due. Like I don't try to plagiarize or pretend that I'm the one creating all these ideas, right? When I listen to something that's smart, it clicks and I'm like, wow, that makes sense. And then I evolve it and I make it stronger and like make it better or whatever, explain it in certain ways. You said something one time, and I don't know if it was in a conversation between us. I'm never going to forget it. You said there's 3 ways that you can make content. There's 3 things that your content can revolve around. You can either entertain people, you can inspire people, or you can educate them. Mm-hmm. And I have talked about this endless times. Never mentioned this to you directly. Wow. But here's the thing.
But it's that simple.
It's that simple, right? It's that
simple. Education, entertainment, or inspiration.
And then
all content falls under those 3 categories.
And then there's a 4th one, which is a mix of these.
Well, that's why then you can find a combination of any of them. You can go education and entertainment. Education and inspiration, or all 3.
Yeah, so literally there's another word which is it's actually a word. You can Google it.
Really?
I swear to God, it is a word.
What's the word?
Edutainment.
Edutainment.
It's a word.
Wow.
I thought that I was making it up.
Educational entertainment?
Yeah, you met Jorge from 𝗙𝗢𝗟𝗢𝗪 TV, right?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
So he's the one that told me about the word.
Wow.
And I said, did you make that up, Jorge? He said, no, you Google it. It's actually a word. This is what we want to do your content around. We want to educate people. We want to entertain them. So that formula is powerful when you combine it. Because here's the thing. If you just only entertain people, then you got to go for another process of selling people on who you are and why they should be buying your stuff.
Yeah.
But if you entertain them, and then you also educate them along the way, you don't have to sell yourself so hard.
You don't have to sell yourself at all.
Correct, because now they trust you. You entertain them, you capture their attention, and now you educated them, and boom, they become your customers. So I want you to talk about this. Let me give you the question.
Well, I'm going to take you one step further on this that I've just discovered more and more of, like, if you want to go viral, there was one thing you have to do. Tell a story. Now, you can disguise anything as a story. You have to start thinking of all your content as a beginning, middle, and end, right? You have to have a hook. Think of it, any movie that you know, right? You got to figure out some sort of hook to get them in, and then you bring them along a journey to then the end of the journey. Every TikTok is like this. Every TikTok that goes viral has some sort of a story element. And so that's something that I've just been keying in more and more with clients.
Either that or Jake, what I've seen, because I have been creating a lot of viral content recently. Yeah. For example, the most viral video in Dr. Berg's TikTok history has 3.5 million views, a lot of attention, 8,000 comments, something ridiculous, right? A lot of attention. It's not a storytelling video. The way he started, he said the following, literally on his phone. iPhone 6. This is an old video.
Yeah, you don't need fancy gear for any of this.
So this is like when I started working with Dr. Berg 6 years ago or so. He had an iPhone 5 or something like that. I got it upgraded to iPhone 6, and then I'm like, Doc, it's been a few years. I need you to get me an upgrade. So this video that he made me was 4 years ago. I reused it on TikTok. It's filmed on an iPhone 6. It's low resolution. Yeah. You can see it. He grabbed that. He put it in front of his face, and he hit record, and he said, what happens when you eat? That's how he started. And for the next minute, he explains what happens in the body when you put food in the body.
And that's the story.
And that's a story, right?
Exactly.
But that powerful line right there, which was applicable to a lot of people, right? Like, wait a second, what do you mean what happens when I eat? Like, I've stopped being hungry. No. There's something's happening inside your body, right?
Yeah.
So storytelling.
I cut you off. You said you had a question.
Yeah, so my question for you is so we can provide a lot of value to people here.
Yeah.
Most people are not Dr. Bergs.
Yeah.
It's incredible, but it's very difficult to be a Dr. Berg or a Grant Cardone or a Frank Suarez or all these people, right?
Yes and no, though. But I'll ask the question.
Okay,
I think I know where you're going with this.
Okay, well, I tried over the years to make more Dr. Bergs, and it's a challenge, even when they create content every day. And I can tell you examples that you probably know, all right? So they never catch fire.
Sure.
They can get a little bit of traction and they can go up in time, but there's something special about these guys that really know how to teach, man. And they really know how to get a message across, capture attention. It's quite unique. My dad is very unique. It's I'm not trying to replace him in Natural Sam, or he's irreplaceable, right? Yeah. So I'm just trying to build on his content. But for those people that are not Dr. Bergs, for those people that are just thinking, because you also have dealt with a lot of these people that, look, I just want to get content because I want to get more sales. All I care about is selling my products. Is content going to be the thing that's going to help me? Okay, good. So tell me how to get more content done, which, by the way, I really don't think that's the route. The route has to be, I want to create content because I want to help more people with my information. Sure. And that's going to lead towards revenue. But unfortunately, most businessmen don't think like that. Sure. They want to create content because it's going to give them more money.
Yeah, so or if they can say, people, okay, I can get my product out there, which helps more people. So one of two, I'm going to take two scenarios then. We're going to look at first the person who wants to be a Dr. Berg, wants to be a Frank Suarez, wants to be a Grant Cardone, but they're like, dude, I don't even know where to get started. How do I do this? This is from my own personal journey, is that I grew up acting. And I grew up acting on the stage, been in over 40 plays. I was a pretty decent actor, actually, and that was actually the career path I was going to go. And then I was like, I actually love being behind the camera more. When I first started making videos, they were horrendous. And this is from somebody who had been technically trained from the age of 5 to 18, with 13 years of acting training and who had performed in front of thousands upon thousands of people. I was horrible. The only reason I got better is because I just kept doing it.
Repetition.
It just, again, it was talked about from at the beginning of this, it's just doing it over and over and over.
It's like building a muscle on the gym.
Yeah.
Over and over, repetition.
If you're, 300 pounds and you want to get to 150 pounds, just by not eating a donut one day is not going to get you there. By going to the gym one day, I know, trust me. We'll figure that out one day. But, maybe Dr. Berg has the answer. Yeah. But, going to the gym one day and you go, oh, let me look at my abs. Nope, they're not there. But going on a walk every day for a year, you lose the weight. And so the same way, if you just start making videos every day, even if you're just doing it for yourself, you're not even putting it out there, but you just practice talking in front of a camera, you're going to get better.
Yeah, so that first year or two, it's more like for you.
Oh, 100%. It's like, no one's going to be watching. And so if you don't worry about that anyone's going to be watching, and then if somebody watches, fantastic.
Maybe your mom or a sister or a cousin.
A loved one, I send my videos to, my family still and just, say, hey, check this out. But then if you don't want to be in front of camera at all, you're like, look, what I would do is find somebody who wants to be in front of the camera, right? There's amazing brands are right now leveraging what's called user-generated content, right? Is basically getting people like influencers, Gen Z, millennial. I mean, you have influencers that are 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, you're old, who love being in front of a camera, who love creating content. Partner with them. Pay them to create content for you and use their content on your social media channels.
Totally. Very valuable.
And then additionally, like influencer marketing right now, I don't know how much you guys are leveraging, but
we're super into it.
Yeah, it is. That's the new Facebook, and from what I've seen.
Especially for faceless brands.
Yes.
People that don't have Dr. Bergs of the world. There's nothing like it. Yeah. I know, for example, brands, a friend of mine who's an e-commerce legend, Ezra Firestone, his brand, which does $50 million a year, is built on influencer content.
Wow.
That's just the way it is. They do a lot of great ads, but they have programs. They call them ambassador programs, in which they have other people create content for them and even their own users. So not only do they hire influencers, they also create a community of influencers within their own users and customers.
Like in-house.
Yeah, in-house, not only in-house, but when they put them on a process in which when they buy products and they're happy, they get rewarded for participating and they get more products and gift cards and stuff like that for providing their own content, which makes it very natural because sometimes when you see an influencer, they're trying to sell you something, right?
Sure.
And legally, they're supposed to put like paid promotion.
Yeah.
But when you get it when you get it from your own customer base, these people do not know how to fake it, right?
Yeah.
They're gonna say, "Oh my God, this product, this water is it's actually very high quality. I really have drank other waters. Look, listen, I live in Safety Harbor, and I can tell you that the water is not good. So I really enjoyed it. So it comes out very natural for them because they're not paid to do it. They're just
they're
being
working
inspired
for that company because they want to work for that company, and they're like, dude, I get to it's shifting the viewpoints. Like these guys, how awesome that they get paid to make content for a company they love.
Correct.
So what you want to find is those individuals who, whether they are on your payroll or, you're paying them as a, separate entity as an influencer to make content for you. Because then also what you can do is leverage, if you have 5, 10, 15 of those individuals, you then find which one goes viral. Out of the 15, you have a testing pool to then figure out what to post on your page. Because let's say they're just posting those on their personal pages. You then just take the best, curate the best, and put it on the official brand page.
That's right. Remember that these opportunities did not exist 20 years ago.
They didn't exist 5 years ago.
They weren't available, and we can never take that for granted. It's what we have right now.
So like one of the fastest growing brands that went public that started this trend was Gymshark. Do you know that story?
No.
So Gymshark is one of the biggest athletic brands, valued at several billion now. And how he started was he saw that there was a missing niche in advertising, which was influencer marketing. So instead of spending lots of money to compete with Nike, Adidas, Puma, all of these massive multi-billion-dollar brands, he went to all these fitness convention shows and paid fitness models, hey, wear my clothes, promote my clothes. And that started influencing there and is now a multi-billion-dollar brand. And the dude is like my age. He's like 31.
Right. It's applicable on any industry also.
Totally. And he's not, again, not a face of the company, but now he is at the level of competing with Lululemon, with Nike, with every big fitness brand he's competing with. Again, all through influencer marketing 6 years, starting 6 years ago.
Powerful. So any of you guys that feel you have a message inside that you feel would help people, get in front of that camera and talk to the world and just do it consistently. And one day, it will pay off if you repeat that message, if you keep on doing it, if you don't give up.
First, it's quantity. It's just like, how many times can you make a video? How many times? And they're going to be awful. Just know that. So get all of them. Like a great quote that I love from Ed Sheeran, who, we all know who Ed Sheeran is and he's amazing, was that he wrote like something like 1,000 songs. Or there was somebody who asked him, the interviewer was asking him how he wrote 18, right? His big first hit. And he was like, honestly, I just wrote so many songs and I just got all the crap out. He's like, it's like turning on a faucet of brown water. You got to just get through the brown water until clean water comes out.
That's right.
And he was able to write that song in like 20 minutes or something like that. Only because he had written thousands of songs that were awful. And there's a great viral video of him showing like one of his first songs from like when he was a kid on like Ellen or something like that. And you hear, this man was not born talented. He was definitely shaky. And so it's just repetition. That's all it is.
That's great. That's great. So the one thing that I'll say, because we have to wrap up in a second, is that not only is it about repetition and quantity of content, you got to know what to do with that content in the era that we're living in today.
Yeah.
Let's say, for example, that you are a big fan of MySpace still, and you're using MySpace every day. So you take all your content and you start posting your content on MySpace. Dude, nobody's going to ever watch that. And that's just the way it is, right? So you also got to leverage opportunities. Right now, in 2022, at the time of this recording, opportunities that were available a year or two ago are not available anymore. You're not going to be able to reach people. You post things on Instagram feed, good luck. Nobody's going to watch you. Now, if you start posting consistently on Instagram Reels, on Facebook Reels, on TikTok,
I mean,
and all
like
these
I'm
places,
a photographer,
right?
And I have to completely shift my Instagram strategy. I had to completely shift it from posting photos to posting Reels because photos are not going to get seen by anyone. It's not going to happen. So I had to go, cool, how can I creatively think of different ways to create content on these platforms that are get seen by more and more people?
That's right.
So you just, whether you agree, disagree, like it, don't like it, suck it up. If you want to be successful in this game, you have to understand how the game is played. You have to do it. Can I say one last thing in terms of just why creating content is amazing?
Oh,
It costs nothing to create it. And when you start building it enough, you actually get paid to advertise for free. That's what's amazing about it. I have a friend who is a painter. She gets paid by YouTube and Facebook to sell her paintings. And then her paintings sell the moment she posts a video on them. So she's literally getting paid by Facebook and YouTube to advertise
it's powerful.
her work.
It's powerful. It's
So
great.
it's unbelievable the opportunities of just creating content.
All right. Well, it was a great conversation with you here today,
Likewise,
Jake.
man.
Appreciate it very much, man. We can talk for hours and hours.
Yes, it's dangerous.
So just to wrap it up, what entrepreneurs, what business owners, who are you servicing these days?
Again, similar. We focus on content creators, people who want to leverage their content and get their message out there. You know, people like Berg, people like your father, like yourself, who need some help with that, whether it's from the shooting or even just repurposing it, because you can create a piece of content like this podcast and be able to put it across all these platforms. So that's a lot of what we're specializing in, is just helping get it across all the platforms, because each platform likes their content in a slightly different way.
Right.
So that's what we help with.
Good. If somebody needs to connect to you, wants to connect with you, where should they go?
Create at creativemindsofficial.com.
Create at creativemindsofficial.com.
Yes, sir.
All right. They can send you an email, and also they can follow you on socials, right?
Yeah. Jake Isham on YouTube. Jake Captured This on Instagram. Otherwise, just Jake Isham across most social platforms.
All right. Follow this guy. He's a creative dude. Thanks for being here, Jake. Brother,
Thank you for
appreciate it.
having me.
We'll do it again. All right.
Sounds good.
All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in. If you're enjoying this content, please go ahead and subscribe. Help me comment below and let me know if you have any questions about marketing. And I'm on a mission to help as many of you as possible conquer the marketing world. So help me out. Subscribe, hit that button, hit that bell, get notified. Go ahead and subscribe right now.